that there is an independent presence to feet. Of course, it's not independent because they don't have a direction to walk to, if not for the head. But the ability of walking is a foot quality. This is why we say, the Rebbe said, that the feet are major contributors to the person in general, because they carry the person from place to place. Not only that, but actually the feet are very heavily contributors to the definition of a human being, because they make him stand up erect. They lift him up. They have a complete self-defined presence and function. This is why this is used as a mashal, so to speak, or a means to understand the concept of a world. So, there is clearly one nefesh, and there is the oil nefesh that encompasses and provides nefesh principle, nefesh quality to the entire person. But there's a difference what nefesh quality, what level of nefesh quality it provides for the different sections that we identified: foot, body, and head. So foot and body we already discussed, and now we are sort of in the details of body. How body is different than foot, or the head is different than foot. In the head there is the finer koiches called the chushim, the seichel, the ear and shmiya, sight and hearing and so forth. In the body there is also the koich, the life-giving organ of the heart, and additionally the heart also provides for phenomenal senses of the midas. All these differences are referred to, rather than koiches hanefesh, they refer to in the term of oyer hanefesh. And we made every attempt to understand the difference. And we'll just kind of review and repeat certain points that we made. We said, for example, that the hand is able to do certain functions, and it uses a screwdriver, for instance, to tie in a screw. There's a very fundamental difference between the hand relationship to this tying the screw and the screwdriver. The screwdriver does not have the sense of an oil. What the life element in this tying the screw down. The hand does sense the life element. This is besides the fact that the head provides the reason why you're tying the screw. Well, here you want to tie these two pieces of wood together. Just the tying of the tightening of the screw itself is a whole experience for the head, from the hand. Whereas a screwdriver is not involved in that at all. To the screwdriver, it makes no difference whether the screw is tightened or not tightened, whether it is in its place or it's not in its place. It doesn't relate to that phenomenon at all. Whereas the hand does feel a difference. The koach hatnush biyad does feel a difference. This is due to the oir hanefesh. Slowly but surely, hopefully, you'll get to sense what is meant by the word oir. There's not a categorical element there that can be really readily defined. Like the Rebbe said, that the worlds are identifiable in the level of bechina, nivcha. It can be tested for it, but there isn't a categorical distinction. And this nivcha element is very important to understand. This is where the principle of oir hanefesh surfaces. All right. So we said we're going to start from the line that begins with the word beroish, and actually I'm going to go to the line above it, towards the end of it, which we already digested many times, but I just want that we should identify there the words that we are trying to explain. Harei, thus we see that iker gilui oir hanefesh, the principle of gilui. Gilui means pay.
Yeah, where at pay?
Huh?
Where did we just start from?
Page pay.
Yeah, what line?
The line is in the middle. The line begins with hamochin, in the middle of that top section.
Thank you.
Iker gilui oir hanefesh, the principle revealing, recognizable of the aspect of the oir hanefesh, hu beroish, is in the head. In the hand, it says not only the various abilities, but the all-encompassing significance of these abilities. Oir hanefesh. That's in the head. Within that itself, it's not the head per se, the skull. It is in the head, the brain that's in the head. This is where the Gilui Oir HaNefesh is principally present. I want to demonstrate in a very simple way something that we all experience, to see that we have, to be able to relate to the principle Oir HaNefesh. When a person encounters any kind of activity of many people moving, running back and forth, or moving things, or anything that's happening, or even it's not happening, something that has been put together in a certain pattern, he will ask immediately, what is this about? This question, what is this about, is not referring to the physical structure of what he's observing. It's referring to an oyer, to something superior in a totally different realm than the structure itself. And this is where the human being is actually identifiable as a human being, having oil nefesh, where the animal does not have. The Rebbe says, the Finch Rabbi in my morning speaks about an animal trampling as it walks. It can trample on anything. It's not even conscious that there is anything to be avoided. And yet, you won't walk into a wall. You go around the wall. Not out of respect for the wall, but because you can just go through it. Now it's on the lower level, on the koyach level. Not because of the oyer. Oh, this is a wall, which you have to treat it with respect. This is called oyer hanefesh. The reality. A human being functions in a broader and a deeper reality. And this is where he gets his sense of right and wrong, and his sense of purpose and accomplishment. And this is where the personal respect that people will have one to the other, because they're all representative and part of this greater reality. Okay. So we have, we talked about the feet, we talked about the body, and now we're up to the head. Actually, we didn't finish with the body. In the body, there is also the heart. Okay, the line begins with the word berosh. Ve'inyan Arousal delibo shehu belev dafka. The phenomenon of Arousal delibo. Thank you. Arousal delibo is really a very great phenomenon in it. The word Arousal delibo for literal translation means the desire of the heart. But not desire as we commonly know, we desire because of some kind of an experience. One desires a tasty piece of food. This is not Arousal delibo. Arousal delibo is not for reciprocal experience. Arousal delibo is a will, recognizing a certain sense of value beyond experience. So the Arousal delibo is belev dafke. It's present only in the heart. The Arousal delibo is a very fine inyan. We will have a chance to get into it as we see.
Arousal delibo is beguf dafka.
It's beguf dafke.
Okay.
Yeah, the lev is in the guf. The brain is in the head, and the heart is in the guf. There are two modes, two manners how the Arousal delibo functions or surfaces. Aleph, one mode is Ma shebo gam kein alidei ha'izbalnu shebemeich, that which comes gam kein, which means also just like Chochmah and Bina, this also, Yerusha Deliba also comes al yedei his bonus to his bonus. Or other koiches that are in the brain, in the head, sight and hearing, all this have to do with this with the intellect. The Yerusha Deliba, which is in a different section of the body of the person, in the body section, in the heart, that also there's one phase of it that is also through his bonus, also comes as a result of the brain as a contribution. His bonus b'meich, rak except what is the difference between this his bonus that brings Yerusha Deliba and his bonus that brings other midos, choch, chesed, gvura, tiferes. Chesed, gvura, tiferes are an achitzonis relative to Yerusha Deliba. Yerusha Deliba is something which is a phenomenon of the heart. But there too, there are two modes. There's one that comes as a result of his bonus in the meich. Just like midas come to his bonus, the person is misboining the goodness of another person. He arouses a love, ahava. Yerusha Deliba also comes to his bonus. Rak except it's a different kind of his bonus. His bonus his bonus is be'oir in soiv shelamayla mihishtal shalos. When one reflects in his boining, not the oir eliki as it manifests, in the world and how it functions in the world, but the oir in soiv shelamayla mihishtal shalos. The oir in soiv that is above the whole worldly structure, process. As is really described elsewhere. Here we're not going into, at this point anyway, into the details of this. But clearly, Yerusha Deliba is a desire or a will in the heart that does not have a clear identity. What is it that you want? We refer to it as being drawn to the truth. Truth is not a world level presence. Now the Rambam says the first principle is to know that there is a first being. First being is not a worldly phenomenon. In world there is no first being. In world there is all kinds of different effects, functional series of events. A first being, this is something which is outside of the world definition. The hisbonus is oirein soif shilmana mishtalshus. The hisbonus, the one is misboining. The oirein soif that is above mishtalshus, that's above whole worldly process. He begins to recognize that there's an appreciation, that there is a desire to relate to a truth that is not of a worldly type of experience. This is bodiness, that there is oirein soif shelamayla mishtalshus, the infinite reality, the infinite truth, oirein soif, that's above ishtalshus, above the entire worldly process. That brings out in the heart. The heart is able to relate to that in a very undefinable manner. But he identifies with it.
This element of truth that's beyond seichel, basically,
Yeah.
is specifically what is interesting or touching to the heart.
In the heart itself, it's not the heart as we refer to the heart, in the midas of the heart. This is an essential element of the heart. This is the chayes hanefesh in the heart.
And that sort of is atzmi or seeks
That's
MS
right.
or
It's a
however you
nefesh
want
element in the heart.
Yeah.
This is what he's going to bring
Okay.
out. This is pure nefesh, you could say. You would say pure nefesh is in the brain. No, there is a pure nefesh element in the heart.
Okay.
And here we say that there are two different modes and two different levels in that. There's one that comes as a result of his boiliness, as a result of reflection and recognizing in the moyach the oyer ein soif, the infinity of the Elokus, rather than the functional aspect of the Elokus, or the Elokus, twin tributes of the world, how good it is and so forth, but just the Elokus as it is unto itself. That brings out in the heart a new from the Usa Deliba. V'habeis, and then there is the other mode of Arusa Deliba. Sheyesh bechinas Arusa Deliba, that there is a bechina, there's an aspect of Arusa Deliba, of the drawing of the heart, perhaps the better way to translate it. Even though Arusa means a desire, it doesn't mean desire, the drawing, where the heart is drawn to. She'eino alidei ha'hizbonus klal, that which is not the result of his bonus at all, and it does not come as a result of his bonus. Kiyim, or rather, mitzad ho'etzem, it is an expression of the etzem, of the essence itself. Thus, this represents the Nakuda Ho'atzmi, is the essential central point of the Nefesh, Shalamayla Megeder Koichos, that is above and higher than the whole phenomenon of Koichos. Geder means a fence, that which included within that periphery, that fenced-in area. It's called Keiches. This is above this whole fence of Keiches. Shehi nechezes belev. This Reusa Deliba, which is above, which is Nakudo Azma Shebenefesh, he nechezes belev, that is holds on, and is held by belev in the heart. It holds on to the heart, and the heart holds on to it. This is in fact l'mayla mikoiches, above the phenomenon of koiches. Koiches means abilities, like Abba and Yira and all kinds of different koiches, and even in the heart, midas, these are all koiches relative to Rusa Deliba. This Rusa Deliba is above koiches. This represents the essential phenomenon of the nefesh itself. Nekudas are nefesh.
first level is shaykh to koiches? Because there's the element.
It's also above koiches.
Ah, but it's
That's
access.
what we're saying, that it's a hizronus and ma'al mishtalshelus.
Yeah. It's also above.
But since we say that it comes as a result of his boinanus, means that this is where there is a sensitivity, there is a relationship to koiches. If his boinanus, if a contemplation in the moyach can have an effect on it, can bring it out, that means that it is sensitive to the moyach, what's happening in the moyach. That's already a koiches. But it brings out a meaning that is higher than koiches because his boinanus is in oil insertion of ma'al mishtalshelus. But that which comes directly to the heart from the nefesh, not going through the moyach and his boninus, that is the real Arousal the Liba. This is really the Mayim HaKoches. It's called. It's not the effect of nefesh. It's the nekuda nefesh itself. Nekuda atzmus of the nefesh. It's not that the nefesh affects a person, but it's the presence of the nefesh itself. And that relates to heart even more than to the brain. This is not the time to discuss it. The Rebbe is not going into this, but in a very simple, brief terms, it is the brain has a tendency to identify everything that it recognizes. This is beyond identification.
Usually we seem to say the opposite about mind. That it's cool, it's abstract, much in the heart. Heart.
Okay, you're jumping too fast. The brain has an intelligence in it. Therefore, it tends to identify with what it senses. Maybe very high, but nevertheless, it is this identifying element. Etzem HaNefesh is beyond identification. That's what we said, the Etzem HaNefesh, this is neches in the heart. The heart accepts whatever you give it. It doesn't discern, it doesn't attempt to identify what it is. So that's why the heart is able to take Etzem HaNefesh. It's called Arousal. And this is where we are going to interrupt. Etzem HaNefesh. Okay, have a great day.
Yanni, I wasn't speaking. I was listening to the whole class.